So have I told you lately just how much I love to talk about the rise of Skywalker? I mean, look at this article in front of you. J.J. Abrams responds to fan frustrations with the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Here he's going to try to tell you that everything remains cohesive, that despite the different directors, that, well, everything it's good to go. Now with that, too, we have Shill Media joining in and giving you a little dilly that goes something like this. Together with producer Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams rebooted Star Wars and made it relevant for a whole new generation. So there wasn't relevance before them. You know, hell to the beast indeed. I mean, what a magnificent mess. So hey there. So today I want to return to the biggest trash fire on the planet. That's right, Disney's Star Wars. I enjoy talking about this thing too, like I said, because every day there is someone new coming out and trying to put out a fire, trying to talk about this movie and trying to talk it up, and that tells you that there's panic and discord behind the scenes. When you see Kathleen Kennedy coming out before this, you see cast members fighting with each other, calling movies divisive, telling you how much they hated Episode 8, that says something. And when you need spin like this, that tells you that there's going to be problems and that you're trying to convince people not only to buy the movie, but to also buy into what the movie is. Now, before we get into this article, and it's a fun one here, if you like this kind of content, you want to help an umbrella out, help us with our interactions. That means subscribing to the channel, and thank you very much for doing so. Definitely do appreciate that. Sharing videos, and also commenting, liking. You can just say +1, interaction, anything that pushes it forward, and thank you for listening to my spiel. So this starts out, like I say, telling you about that relevance, and then it goes forward, and I like this here. So while the sequel trilogy has been a huge success in terms of revitalizing the franchise, there has also been criticism that the arc of the trilogy as a whole was not well planned and that passing off between directors and writers did not go well. So it revitalized the franchise. It was something that made people love it, but it was sloppy. It was not directed well. Yeah, you see these two tastes. They don't go well together. Good job, IGN. Good job, indeed. Then we're told where this interview takes place, on a press trip to Tokyo, and we're going to be listening to IGN Japan. Now in this, Abrams sits down and he tells you, I was brought in to work on Force Awakens, and then I was brought in to work on Episode 9, which became The Rise of Skywalker. The story that I was working on, The Force Awakens with Larry K., was something that we projected forward. What the ending would maybe be, would possibly be, likely would be. But we were very busy on Episode 7, and Episode 9 was 2 movies quite a way away. So the focus was on 7. Now look at this. Watch this change up here. While we were working on 7, Kathy hired Ruin Johnson to work on 8 because there was no way I would be conscious to work on 8 and then 9. And she had that responsibility. Now, you notice in that, it changes the optic. It changes responsibility. It says it was her fault that that guy was brought in. I like the way that that's put together because it kind of shifts that away from him. You know, Mr. Linsflin there, he can't be blamed for the way that went. He's saying Episode 7 and Episode 9 are my babies, but that thing, yeah, that wasn't mine. That was supposed to be the end of Abrams' directorial responsibility. He was supposed to be an executive producer on Episode 8, Last Jedi, which he told us he enjoyed as an audience member. Now there's discussion here where he called it unconventional. He calls it later on subversive. And you tell me how those words are supposed to be good words when considered with Star Wars. We also have John Boyega coming out and telling us it was a bit iffy. And yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. But here J.J. Abrams says, when we were done with 7, I was very happy to be in the audience again, and I thought what Ryan did with the amazing surprises and shocks and subverting expectations at every turn, and was fun for me as an audience member. Now you look at those descriptors there. You get amazing surprises. That's awesome. Shocks. Yeah, that's one way to put it, but subverting expectations. What expectations did he subvert in there? Oh, yeah, he took a big baddie and turned him into a nobody. He took the way that, say, Luke was set up and he turned him into a nobody. He turned the rebellion and really the First Order into nobodies. What a lot of fun. What a lot of fun indeed. So, but after the planned Episode 9 director, Colin T. departed the project in September 2017, Abrams was brought back to finish. He told that IGN Japan that he was put in the position of revisiting concepts he had considered during the production of Force Awakens, but having to update them to fit with the plot of Johnson's movie. Wow, that thing had a plot? Really? On Episode 9, we got to continue conversations that we had back on 7, which was really fun. And instead of it being 2 movies away in the future, it was, oh my God, it's happening right now, and we have to end this the best possible, most satisfying, emotional way possible. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Despite the disjointed production process. Again, qualifiers that sound bad. Disjointed, yeah, that says it's a mess here. Abrams insists that he feels there was in fact a sufficient continuation between the 3 films. Ruin did things I never would have thought to do that ended up helping where 9 went in a way that was even more satisfying than I expected it would be. So you didn't think it would actually be satisfying the way that you planned the movie, or you didn't think it would be satisfying the way that he put that stuff together. See, no matter how I look at that, that doesn't sound good to me. And ultimately, the challenge, which was fairly terrifying at the beginning, how do you end not just a trilogy, but 3 trilogies, was always more gratifying than it was frightening. Yeah, how do you bungle up not only, say, this news thing that Disney puts you in the process of, but how do you bungle up one of the biggest things out there, the license to print money? That should terrify you. And when it's terrifying you, maybe, just maybe, you should think about what you've done. Now, ending this, he says, as for whether he felt any regrets for how this process pans out, he replied, I always looked at what I have done and see things that I wish I would have done better or differently. I wish that Chewie hadn't walked past Leia in the 3rd act of The Force Awakens after Han died. There are things all over the place I always know I could have done better, but that's part of learning, I guess. I guess it is. You know, now, well, we can put things underwater just like we have before. We can give Mary Sue more powers. You can add in everything, including bringing back the Emperor and ruining, say, Return of the Jedi, everything you always wanted to do. Because you know what? Ultimately, you want to be George Lucas, but you can't be. You can't be because, well, you're just not him. You're basically an imposter in that. An imposter, and not a very good one at that. See, I hate the movie that he put together. The last movie, it basically makes him look better, but he didn't put together anything that was good either. And now he's been spinning the idea that this movie, it goes and it borrows from the prequels. It goes and it borrows from that energy, while also going out and saying, I'm going to do better than George Lucas did. Fun times, huh? Fun times. But anyway, when you look at this, another trash fire trying to be put out, it doesn't fare very well. It doesn't at all. But you tell me what you think about that. Now, ending this, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. You empower these endeavors. These people, they have forgotten that at every turn, and hey, woe be it unto them. When you go out and you think about that too, think about who empowers these movies. It wasn't them. It's your money. So if you want to go and you want to laugh at the trash fire they created, hey, that's good stuff. For me, I don't want to be these people, so I want to take every opportunity to thank you. So if you want to help out with interactions, that's great, but your time is valuable. So thank you for that. Ending, we'll be doing this again and again. Thank you.